A very good afternoon to all our viewers. Thanks for tuning into NDTV. This is the Southern View. And in the next half hour, of course, all my colleagues and me will bring you the top stories from the southern part of India. First up, there's some breaking news coming in from Karnataka. Now, this is as far as the leadership row is concerned. Now, in the latest, the Karnataka Chief Minister has decided to call for a dinner meet. And this will be attended by, of course, by his cabinet colleagues. Tentatively, the date has been fixed as 13th of October, Monday. But the questions that really here that are coming up is that why has this dinner meet been called, especially at a time when there's a lot of speculation that there's going to be a cabinet reshuffle. Is there going to be soft signaling that's going to be done to some of the ministers who will be let go? But the bigger question that comes up really here is, can Mr. Siddaramaiah decide on a massive cabinet reshuffle at a time when there is speculation that there could be a leadership change as well? Even as Mr. Siddaramaiah says that there is not going to be any change and he will continue for the next 5 years, and even as Mr. D.K. Shivkumar maintains that all of this is left completely to the High Command and he's not going to comment, and also discourages others from commenting and also issues notices, there's again a big political buzz that's doing the rounds. We spoke to the Deputy Chief Minister and the Karnataka Home Minister about the developments. Let's listen to what they had to say.
ನನಗೆ ಯಾವ ವಿಚಾರನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರು ಏನ್ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರು ಮತ್ತು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಂತ ವಿಚಾರ. ನಾನು ಯಾವ್ದು ಭಯ ಹಾಕುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನೇನಾದ್ರು ಕರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಸಲಹೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾವ ಚರ್ಚೆಗೂ ಆಸ್ಪದ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಗೊಂದಲ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ನಮ್ರತೆಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಿಗ್ ಬಾಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ರಾತ್ರಿನೇ DC ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಕೊಡಿ, ಅವರು ಏನಿದ್ರು ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಕ್ಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕು, ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಏನಲ್ಲ ಬಿಗ್ ಬಾಸ್ಗೆ. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪಣ್ಣ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರೆಕ್ಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಯಾರನ್ನೇ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ವಿ. ನಾನು ಏನು ನಮ್ಮ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ನಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ವಿ.
ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ನವರು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಚಾರ, ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ರಿಷಫಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದವ್ರು ಯಾರು? ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಇದೆ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದು ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಅವರು ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಇದೆ, ಸಮುದಾಯದವರು ಹೌದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮುದಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ತೆಗ್ದಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಕೊಡಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಸಂದರ್ಭಾನುಸಾರವಾಗಿ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಡೀ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ನೇ ರಿಷಫಲ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಮಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇನಿದ್ರು
ಸುಬ್ರನ್ನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಆ ತರ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕರೀತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. MLAಗಳನ್ನ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆಯೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು, ಅದೇನು ಹೊಸ್ತಾ
ರಾಜಕೀಯ.
Now, while the ministers, of course, continue to maintain it's all up to the High Command to decide on a cabinet reshuffle and whether there is actually going to be a cabinet reshuffle, you also have a series of comments that keep coming time and again about this leadership change. Just as we thought that it's not going to happen once again, we have yet another minister, and that's the breaking update that we are bringing to our viewers now. Iqbal Hussain, the MLA who has time and again been pulled up for making comments about leadership change, about the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar taking over as the Chief Minister very soon, has done it again. He has gone on to say that D.K. Shivkumar will become the Chief Minister and the High Command will decide upon this very soon. So let's listen to what he said.
ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ಗೆ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಈಗೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ. D.K. ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೇನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ನನಗೆ ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಏನು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಲಾಷೆ, ನನ್ನ ಆಸೆ, ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ, ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾದಂಥ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯನ ನಾನು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ.
Well, that's as far as the breaking news from Karnataka is concerned. We'll of course bring you more, but for now, I'm going to go out to my colleague Sam Daniel in Chennai because there are more crucial updates coming in from Tamil Nadu. Over to you, Sam.
That's right, Deepak. Thank you. The Madhya Pradesh police arrested the owner of Srisan Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Company that produced the toxic cough syrup that allegedly killed at least 20 children, including many in Madhya Pradesh. Ranganathan has been booked for adulteration and culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Meanwhile, heads have started rolling in Tamil Nadu with the health department suspending 2 senior drug inspectors for alleged lapses in their work in terms of their periodical review of this plant. Here is my ground report. We come to you from outside Srisan Pharmaceutical Manufacturer at Sunguvar Chatram in Kanchipuram district outside Chennai, whose owner Ranganathan was arrested early this morning under sections of alleged adulteration, culpable homicide not amounting to murder, and a few other sections. And police would obtain a transit pass or transit permit and then bring him here for interrogation. Already the Tamil Nadu government has ordered stopping production at this plant, and based on his response after interrogation, they are very likely to order closure of this plant. In fact, they have struck a show cause notice here, raising several violations. We understand there are around 300 lapses by this manufacturer, and the general hygiene condition here, many say, is far from any ideal condition. In fact, this is a kind of a pump, and if you can peep through this window, you will get a sense of the kind of hygiene this little plant had maintained. The health department also alleges use of banned chemicals by this manufacturer, and at the moment, at least 20 children have lost their lives consuming this particular cold syrup. The Tamil Nadu government has also initiated action. Heads have started rolling. 2 senior drug inspectors have been suspended for alleged lapses in terms of conducting periodic review of this plant. Certainly, this issue has raised tough questions in terms of quality control mechanisms, particularly when India is seen as the pharmacy to the world. And not long ago, products from pharmaceutical companies in India were banned in the US after loss of lives, after patients used eye drops made in Chennai in one case, and loss of lives were reported in Africa, and even the even the WHO had banned use of certain pharmaceutical products from India, after which many mechanisms and systems were put in place to ensure quality control, and now the health minister has said tough action will be taken against these 2 senior drug inspectors. Tough questions, no answers, 20 lives lost as we speak. There's an interesting political development with flags of TVK found in a rally presided over by AIADMK Chief EPS at Kumarapalayam. For more on that, over to my colleague Vijay.
Development in Tamil Nadu politics ahead of 2026 election. Yesterday, ADMK General Secretary Edappadi Palaniswamy held a massive campaign in Namakkal district, Kumarapalayam, where he mentioned that there was a visual where he be able to see TVK flags, 2 to 3 TVK flags, which were held by an unidentified person. But ADMK General Secretary EPS, while speaking, mentioned that the alliance under ADMK is getting stronger in Tamil Nadu. He even said that Chief Minister claims that DMK alliance is very strong in Tamil Nadu, but the alliance, you can see the flag. He showed the TVK flag and said you can see the flags fluttering here. So the alliance headed by ADMK is getting strong ahead of 2026 election. So this is seen as interesting development. Whether is there any talks between TVK and ADMK going on ahead of 2026 election? Because earlier also TVK Chief Vijay never mentioned highly critical of ADMK, because whenever he spoke on campaign, he always criticized BJP and DMK. He mentioned that BJP is TVK ideological enemy, whereas DMK is political enemy. So as far as ADMK concerned, there was no such big criticism from TVK towards ADMK. So this is seen as an important development. But however, TVK, when we spoke with TVK sources, they distanced themselves from saying that the person who held the TVK flag in the ADMK was not part of TVK. Those are not TVK cadre. So let's listen into what EPS mentioned in Namakkal district.
ஸ்டாலின் என்கிறார் திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகம் தலைமையிலே அமைக்கப்படுகின்ற கூட்டணி வலிமையான கூட்டணி அப்படின்னு அவர் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கார். உண்மையா? அது வெற்று கூட்டணி, வெல்லுகின்ற கூட்டணி, நம் தலைமையிலே அமைக்கப்படுகின்ற கூட்டணி. திரு ஸ்டாலின் அவர்களே, நீங்க கூட்டணி நம்பி இருக்கிறீங்க, கூட்டணி தேவைதான். ஆனா அதிமுக தலைமையிலே அமைக்கப்படுகின்ற கூட்டணி வலுவான கூட்டணியா இருக்கும். பாருங்க, கொடி பறக்குது. பிள்ளையார் சொல்லி போட்டாங்க, எழுச்சி ஆரவாரம். ஸ்டாலின் அவர்களே, குமராபாளையத்தில் நடைபெற்ற கூட்டத்தினுடைய ஆரவாரம் செவிய தொலைச்சுக்கிட்டு போகுது. அவங்களுடைய திட்டம் நிறைவேறாது. ஆகாயத்தில் கோட்டை கட்டி கனவு கண்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அந்த கனவு காணல் நீராகத்தான் போகும்.
இன்னைக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டை கைப்பற்றணும்னு, எப்படியாவது தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள நுழைஞ்சிடணும்னு பாஜக அதிமுகவோட துணையோடு இன்னைக்கு வந்துகிட்டு இருக்கு. பழைய அடிமை பழனிசாமி பத்தலன்னு இன்னைக்கு புது அடிமைகளையும் பாஜக வலை வீசி தேடிட்டு இருக்கு. நான் யார சொல்றேன்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரியும்.
So as far as alliance is concerned, we have to wait and see how this develop ahead of election. So that's all we have from Tamil Nadu. My colleague Ashwin joins from Kerala to bring all the updates. Over to you, Ashwin.
Thank you, Vijay. In fact, the protest against the state government is intensifying in the state of Kerala. Now, the BJP has taken out a protest march in Calicut today in Kozhikode district, where a large number of BJP workers headed by the former state president K. Surendran took out a protest march against the loot that has happened in Sabrimala. BJP workers, around 200 to 300 workers, had gathered outside in Kozhikode, and where they were trying to break the barricade of the SP office, and later many of these activists were taken. They were taken into custody as well. The police used around 5 to 6 rounds of water cannons against these protesters. The essential demand that has been put in by the BJP is 3 demands. One, they want a CBI inquiry into the gold theft that has happened in Sabrimala. Number 2, they want all the records of Sabrimala to be made public of the last 30 years. The TDB records should be made public. And number 3, they would demand the resignation of the Devasu minister. Now we have BJP top leader V. Muralidharan speaking. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
But in spite of such a serious incident, the Chief Minister of Kerala has chosen not to utter a single word about the action being taken by the government. This is highly deplorable. Is it because this is an issue concerning the majority community of the state? Is it because this is an issue concerning a temple and not a place of worship of any other community? Is it the reason why the Chief Minister chose not to react?
That's all we have from Kerala. Now let's hear from stories from the state of Telangana. Uma Sudhir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. The Telangana government had announced free bus rides for women as soon as they came to power, and they have been losing about 600 crores per month. And on the 6th of this month, they have in fact started hiking the bus fares on the on the buses, and what they have said is that they are going to be charging almost double or 1/3 extra price because they want to improve the infrastructure, replace the existing fleet with electric vehicles, as many as 2,000 electric vehicles, and therefore they want to improve the infrastructure in terms of the bus depots and also bring in as many as 18 new bus depots as well. But this has come in for sharp criticism from the BJP as well as the BRS, who are demanding a rollback of this. And today, the BRS had in fact announced a protest in which KT Ramarao was to travel by bus. But before that, a lot of drama. Early morning house arrest of all the BRS leaders, KT Ramarao at his residence, Harish Rao, Talasani Srinivas Yadav and others. But subsequently, the police decided to reverse its decision, allow them to go on this protest. And we caught up with BRS working president KT Ramarao on this bus ride from the Sikandrabad railway station. So the BRS working president KT Ramarao is on that protest ride in a RTC bus. You are taking this ride to draw attention to the fact that bus fares have been hiked.
Well, the Congress government is taking people for a ride, so we thought, we'll protest symbolically by traveling in a bus, in a public transport bus, and demanding the government that they roll back the fares, because Congress party had famously promised to people of Telangana that they would ensure every single employee of the RTC, the corporation, would be made a government employee, and they will be increasing and improving public transport. But what are they doing today? They have promised free buses to women, but they have doubled the fare on the male passengers who would be traveling, and also increased the bus passes, the fares on bus passes for every single student and senior citizens. So this is nothing but daylight loot. That's what we are protesting. We are demanding a rollback on the hike of the bus tickets, and we are also demanding the government answer on why they are heading towards privatization of Road Transport Corporation.
You do know that the RTC is running into losses every single month.
Every single public transportation across the world, including New York subway, is in losses. The fact is, public transport by definition is an obligation of the government. You cannot basically come out with a scheme to garner votes, calling this a humanitarian or a charitable work, and then suddenly start showing your true colors by hiking prices. If you knew that the RTC was already in losses, what was the need to promise free bus?
The women, of course, are celebrating, but this is expected to obviously bring in revenue in order to introduce electric vehicles.
Even the women are questioning this. In fact, if you take an opinion of women across Telangana, many are questioning why this was required, because even they are fighting for seats. Even if you're launching a free bus scheme, you should have increased the number of buses. You should have extended it to air-conditioned buses. You should have made sure that even the passengers who are paying are also treated with equal respect. The fact is, this government is a clueless government which does not know how to handle any kind of a new launch or a new scheme. Therefore, today they have suddenly hiked the prices of all the bus tickets across Telangana, and especially in city buses, just to, under the guise of electrification of vehicles, etc., they are taking the corporation towards privatization.
But it is a fact, isn't it, that if one government brings in, say, free bus scheme, it's very difficult for the next government, if you were to come into power, to withdraw something like that.
Well, see, we are about 2.5 years away from next election. All we are seeking is answers from the state government. Who asked you to increase the fares when you knew fully well? Because see, if you really want to serve the women of our state, you're welcome. We also welcome the free bus scheme. But you should subsidize, government should subsidize the corporation and not the other way around. You cannot penalize the people of the state because of your free bus scheme or any other scheme that you would like to continue. Government has to take the burden on itself. When we were in government the last couple of years, RTC was in losses. Every year, 1,500 crores of grant was given to RTC. Why can't the government do the same thing now?
So right now you're saying roll back the entire price hike.
And also stop privatization. They are taking the corporation towards privatization. Under the guise of electrification, already several depots have been given to private companies. Several buses are being handed over to private entities. And I see that the day is not far when the corporation eventually will be privatized also.
Okay, and just an extended question on that. Public transport challenge in every urban city. And you're talking about a metro that is not coming yet because of various reasons. L&T has made its exit. What is the road forward, according to you, to decongest cities?
Across the world, the one thing governments have to do as an obligation, a social obligation, is subsidize public transport, be it metro, be it road transport, or even MMTS. Central government and the state governments have to work together, have to subsidize, cannot penalize people, continue to do better efficient tax collection on other fronts, ensure that revenues grow by way of proactive industrial policies, by way of proactive revenue generation policies, but do not penalize the common man who basically uses the public transport day in, day out.
So when you're going to the Bus Bhavan now, what are you going to be? You're going to be giving a petition to them?
We of course will be speaking to the MD on why they are planning to privatize RTC, on why they are basically penalizing the common man, and why the state government is indiscriminately now launching these freebies without thinking of consequences.
So free bus rides for women and almost double the charge for men. So how are the people going to react? Yes, there's also a by-poll coming up in Hyderabad itself in the Jubilee Hills constituency, which is going to polls along with the Bihar elections. And yes, on the 11th of November is when the voting will happen. And the Congress has in fact announced its candidate as Naveen Yadav, someone who belongs to the backward classes, someone who contested as MIM candidate in 2014 and lost by about 9,200 votes. In 2018, he contested independently and came third in the race, but this time round the Congress has picked him as a backward class person belonging to the backward classes. But he's already in a controversy with cases being booked against him under the Representation of People's Act as well as under the Bharat Nyaya Samhita for allegedly unduly influencing voters by being involved in a voter card distribution ceremony. Of course, Naveen Yadav says that those were not real voter ID cards, but photocopies which were laminated and done as a voter awareness exercise and not really distributing the real voter cards with the hologram. He's pointing out that they do not have the original hologram either. So already in a controversy, let's listen into what Naveen Yadav had to say about this.
Elders Sonia Madam को, Rahul Gandhi sir को, कारगे साहब को, केसी वेणुगोपाल साहब को और हमारे प्रिय मुख्यमंत्री हमारे अन्ना रेवंत रेड्डी साहब को, पीसीसी अध्यक्ष महेश साहब को, मीनाक्षी मैडम को और विश्वनाथम सर एंड कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स, एंटायर कैबिनेट सबको शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ जो मेरे ऊपर भरोसा रखे। यहाँ के जुबलील्स के पब्लिक के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हुए यहाँ के पब्लिक को एक भरोसा कांग्रेस पार्टी देने के लिए जो मेरे को मौका दिया गया है और मैं सबको लेके चलते हुए यहाँ के पब्लिक को, लीडर्स को, पार्टी वर्कर्स को सबको मिला के लेते चलते हुए यहाँ कांग्रेस पार्टी को जिताने के लिए भारी मेजॉरिटी जिताने की कोशिश करूँगा।
So that's a wrap from Telangana. Now I hand over to my colleague Deepak in Karnataka for some controversy over Quran at a public government function, in fact, in the state. Over to you, Deepak.
Thank you, Ma. This event, in fact, was held in northern Karnataka and Hubli. Now, projects worth about 16 crores were inaugurated. There was the district in charge minister, Mr. Santosh Lad, who was a part of this event. It was an official government event, and even in this event, there were party symbols, is the objection that the deputy leader of opposition here in Karnataka, Mr. Arvind Ballad, is raising. He's also saying there were recitals of the Quran that went on during this official function, and this is a complete breach of protocol, and he has now warned that he'll also write a letter to the Karnataka Chief Secretary about what has happened. Now, we of course tried to reach out to Mr. Santosh Lad himself ahead of the cabinet meet. At that point in time, he said he will react only later. We're expecting that reaction to come in and his justification to this entire row. But before that, let's listen to what the deputy leader of opposition, Mr. Arvind Ballad, had to say.
Government in Karnataka is nothing but the Imam's Sarkar. This is for Imams. This is by Imams. The Congress in Karnataka is calling Imams to the government functions and making them recite Quran. In a government function, how can they do it? There is a certain protocol to be followed in the government functions. There is a certain way the programs are conducted. How can they call a Imam and make them recite Quran in the government function? Not only that, even senior IAS officers are made to be part of that program and they are behaving as if they are Congress Karyakartas. I strongly urge Chief Secretary to immediately act upon those officers who were part of the party function.
Meanwhile, in Karnataka over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of controversy over Well Studio, a place where Big Boss Kannada is being shot, and there were certain breaches in terms of the sewage treatment plant not being in order, letting out, affluents, and more importantly, a lot of violations that the Karnataka State Pollution Board found, and then decided to actually seal the premises. Now, after that, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth that was happening. Finally, it was the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka who came out and said that, it's probably not right to seal this place because it generates employment to a large number of people, and even went on to say that, there'll be 10 days time for them to rectify whatever problems there is. We also saw actor Kicha Sudeep thank the Deputy Chief Minister for this timely intervention, but this didn't stop pro-Kannada activists today from landing up at that venue, protesting against the government, protesting against the Deputy Chief Minister, saying that this is a blatant violation of rules which shouldn't have been allowed. We'll really have to see, firstly, whether the studio will fix the problems, what sort of a damage is the lack of an STP or not a proper STP going to cause to the environment. These are, of course, pertinent issues to note. 10 days time, of course, has been given. Whether these issues will be fixed, that is something that we'll continue to track. With that, it's a wrap on the Southern View. Thanking all my colleagues Uma, Sam, Vijay and Ashish for bringing us all the updates from their respective states as well. We'll have news and updates continue on the other side. Don't go anywhere.